Okay, so we're going to do the Innovia training for the CMA. We're going to go ahead and go into Innovia, and we're on our home page. So we'll wait for that to change. And there's a couple of things we're going to do for the CMA. The first one is going to be a quick CMA. One, I'm going to show you just to do like some totals. And then the last part of the class is going to be in the comprehensive CMA, which is the large CMA presentation. So basically, if you ever do a search, and you can do this in any property type, I'm just going to pick up a standard search here for residential. And you will notice over here on the left where your displays are, you can change right above that. It says sort results by. If your audio is low, it's basically your speakers on your PC, not on mine. So make sure you turn up the volume on your speakers. Okay, so over here on the left, I'm going to go to above the display as you have sort results by. If I click there and drop it down, I have status property list, and you have status property MLS number. You see the word totals on. So I'm going to choose that. And I'm just going to put in some criteria just to show you. Some of you might use this and some of you may not. But I could do active, anything you do a search for. Let's pick a county. Let's just actually use one of my last searches. All right. And we're going to change that again to totals on. And I'm just going to say search. When I click continue here, and we look at it in a one-liner display, interesting. Okay, so if we look at a one-liner display, let me try this one more time. It should put totals at the bottom of your page. Let me use a different besides a map-based search. So let's just go back to a search page. We're going to choose totals on. And we're just going to do a price real fast. There we go. Okay, so down at the very bottom of the totals on, at any time you're looking at a one-liner, which is what we're looking at here, or a photo one-liner, it will break it out at the bottom by showing you the grand total of that search, the properties, the status, so they're all active, the high, the low, the median, and the average and average days on market. So I can also change this from a one-liner to a photo one-liner, and that will also put the totals at the bottom of that as well. So of all of those that we just pulled up, it's just going to show me the average days on market, median, average, and low. All right, so that's just a quick, I want some stats for that. Now what we're going to do is actually do a quick CMA search. So the quick one is going to be under the Use Checks menu. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want active, single family, and basically when you do a CMA, you all will do it differently. So some of you may do look for the same elementary school, and then you look for the same amount of bedrooms, same amount of baths. So on paper or in your mind, you have a subject property. The system has nothing to do with the subject property at this point. So I'm just going to do a simple search and try to find comps myself. So I want to do sold. I want single family because my subject is single family. I want to do, we're going to do two-story because my subject's two-story. You would probably pick your elementary school. I'm just going to use county in this example. And I'm going to scroll down, and I would put the same amount of bedrooms and baths. We're going to say 3 to 4. And full baths, 3 to 4. And then down below, you probably don't want all sold from forever and ever. You want to actually put a sold date. You can use the calendars and put your date. You can key in the date. But if you will just type in the letter T minus, you can do T minus 30 days, and that will only go back 30 days. So that's going from today back. Show me everything that's sold from today back 30 days. You can do T minus 365. Basically, whatever you want to do for your date range, you can. This goes back in days. So I'm just going to do a search. Let's go back a little further. Still not very far. Let's go back a little bit further. Let's do T minus 365. All right. So I'm going to pull those up, and then from that point, you would pick the ones you want to use to compare. So what I could do is just check off a few of them. So I want to compare this one, compare this one, and we'll compare this one here. So if I have 3 or less checked off, I'm going to do use checks. This is your quick CMA is under here. Use checks, and you have a CMA, a horizontal, and then your big CMA, which is also on your home page. So we're going to do a quick one. If we have 3 or less checks, so I have 3, we'll always choose this one because it's going to lay them across the page vertical. And this one will do them horizontally. You can have as many as you want. So I'm going to choose CMA, and I'm just going to click Show Selection. Now you're going to tell the system about your subject property. None of this is required, but if you're really going to use this, you might want to put in some information here. So you might want to put your subject property address. And then if you're doing this for a customer, you can put their name here. And then you have your bedroom. So we have 4, we have 3 baths, no half baths, and we have, well, we'll say 1 half bath. And square footage, none of this is required. We'll leave that one out just to show you something. And then we're going to say it was built in 1999. And I'm going to say submit. And what that's going to do is load what I just said about my subject property here, and it lines the 3 that I checked off to the right of that. Okay, you can make adjustments right here. If you know what the appreciation is in your area, you can do this 5%. So if it's 5%, you make that adjustment, and it will do the adjustment for you based on the close date for the appreciation, or how many days it was on the market. So if you know it's 5%, you can do that. If you, whatever the appreciation, but this is always done at a percent. Bedrooms. If you know the cost of a bedroom, you can put the cost in here. So the default values are going to always be zeros. And all it's doing is taking these 3 and averaging at the bottom. But if you know the cost of a bedroom, and I cannot tell you how you get the cost of a bedroom because ask an appraiser, or, you've got to know what goes here. I just teach you how the system works. The areas are so different from case-by-case scenarios, so you have to put what goes here. 4 bedrooms. My subject has 4, and I'm saying a bedroom is worth $2,000 just for this class only, so don't take my word for that. But we're going to say 4. This one has 3, so it does a positive 2,000. You never take away from your subject. You always add or subtract from your comparables to bring it up or down to match your subject. So again, this one's short, so it adds 1. This one has the exact, so it does no adjustment. So if you know the adjustment values, great, fill them in. We're going to say a full bath is worth $1,000. And look at this one down here. It had one more bath than mine, so it took away $1,000. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 miscellaneous fields where you can type anything you want. For example, I could say it has a pool, and then over here I could say, does this one, how much is the pool? The pool might be $10,000. So this one has a pool, and it's fine. No adjustment needed. This one has no pool. So you have a little bit of room to write a little bit of a description, not a lot. And then I could say how much this one is missing the pool, so I'd have to add positive $10,000 for that pool. And then this one over here might have a pool, so I don't need to make an adjustment. Or if it's better than my subject, you take away the difference. So we'll say it's worth 12. So then that gives you your average adjusted value at the very bottom. And then over here on the left, I can print this and I can email it. But if you want to save it and come back to it later, you're going to click the word Save Search. I realize it's not a search, but the button never changes names. So that's what you have to work with, Save. Even though it says Save Search. So let's click Save. And now you're going to give it a name that you would recognize. Usually people will name it the client's name, or they'll name it subject property or something you would be able to recognize it to pull it back up, and click OK. Now where do I retrieve that? Under your search menu, if you look at the bottom, it says Get Saved CMA. If I choose that, this will take me to all of my saved CMAs. So they will stay here forever until you check them and delete. So if I want to access the one we just did, all I have to do is click on the name. And it brings me right back into here that I can either make adjustments again, re-save it, re-email, or print it. Or just go back to where you were. Okay, so that's how you do a quick CMA. The next thing you have is, let's say we checked off 4. Or let's say we checked off 8 comparables. You can have as many as you want. So we're going to do that same search. I'm going to pull up my last search that I just did. Oh, I got something different. And I'm going to check off 4 or 5, however many you want. And now I'm going to say Use Checked. And I'm going to do the horizontal CMA, because if I try to do this one, watch what's going to happen. Show selection, it says you have selected more than 3 items. Only the first 3 items will be used. And then you have to say, shoot, that's not what I want. I cancel it, and then do Use Checked again. That's when you'll know, hey, you need to use the horizontal one. So 4 or more horizontal. I like 3 and less because it looks better. It's easier to read. So I'm going to show you the horizontal. Same thing, show selection, and now you would tell it about your subject property. 4, 3, 1, and we did 1999. And submit. And now what it does is it lays your subject up here at the top, and you have smaller photos because you're having to fit more on the page, so it does them horizontally. But here are those adjustment values. Again, appreciation. If you need to make the appreciation, change it to whatever you need to, and it will make the appreciation for you, or the calculations for you. If you know the adjustment for a bedroom, what we did was a 2,000, remember? And then for baths, we did 1,000. And see how it's changing? So my bedrooms, there's 4. This one has 3, so it added 2,000. This one has 2, so it's short and added 2. And so on, all the way down. The exact same thing. It's just laid across the page differently. Here are your miscellaneous fields where you can type pool, no pool. And then you would make your adjustment for the $10,000 pool. So I'd go all the way down the page, and down in the bottom right corner is where your adjusted value is. Here. All right? Again, you can print it, you can email it, and if you click the word Save Search, you save it, give it a name, and you can retrieve it again under the search menu, Get Saved CMA. All right, so let's look at, those are the two quick ones you have. Let's look at the other one, which is a presentation, which is going to be your comprehensive CMA. So you have it on your home page. I think you can also get to it from here under your search menu. Same place, they take you to the same exact thing. You can also start from a subject property on a search under each check. So remember, we saw that as well. I'm going to show you how the system does this, and then I'm going to show you how I do it. All right? So first of all, you're going to start from scratch. You're going to go new. You're doing a brand new CMA, because if you've never built any, I want to point out this will not be here. One other thing I want to point out is by default, the board and I sat down and we went through actually what fields would you want here on your grid. Net sold price, CMA archive, CMA last built, property subtype. You can change this to your own liking and it will be different. So anytime you see this little wrench at the top right corner, you can click Edit Display and just pick whatever you want. These are all your data fields. This is that same grid from top to bottom, left to right. It reads left to right. Remember, the last one was property subtype. So if you want to add acreage, add it in, right? And then click Save. And now yours has approximate acreage. So a lot of times appraisers like different fields here than a regular agent does. You can make this however you want. The default was what you started with. I'm just going to take that back out. You just click on it and do remove and save it. You can sort these by the arrows and the columns to sort ascending or descending. Also, beside that, a lot of people want to print this for whatever reason. So you can print this. That's what this little printer button does. And then there is help to show you how to use the CMA. All right. So now I'm going to go to New. And you're going to either create a new subject property from scratch, or you can clone one. If you clone one, you can only clone your own. If you're a broker, you can usually clone anybody in your that works under you in your office. You're the main broker of the office. Or if you're the office admin, usually they can clone anybody in their office. But for agents, you can only clone your own. I can either clone it just by looking up by street number or street name, or the MLS number, or I can create a subject property from new. So let's just do that. Let's go to Next. All right. When you go to New, you're going to fill out everything you see here that you know about your subject property. And it looks just like your listing input sheet, because if you can add listings, once you give this presentation to your seller and they say list my house, you don't have to key it all in. You just come back into the CMA and you activate it. All right, you can go down the page filling out everything you want, everything you know about your subject property. Do you have to fill out the public description and the remarks and all that? No, you probably don't. You don't need to really do that yet. But everything else that I know about my subject, I would fill out. At the top here, you do have Get Tax Info, so you can populate auto-pop from taxes. So I can pick the county. I think you have to do the county and the address, or you can do owner name. And look up, and it will populate a lot of these fields right from your tax data. But still look over, tax data can be incorrect at times, so make sure you look over and you can fix anything. So if the tax data had the acreage wrong, you could change that. If not, just fill out everything you know about this and go to the bottom and click Save Listing. And that's going to bring you right back to here. So all I did was click New, and we chose Create from Subject Property, and then go to Next. And then that brings you right back to here. Now you could upload photos, or you can do it later. Okay, remember I said you cannot use an MLS number from someone else's listings. You can only do your own, cloning from your own. And if you're the office admin, you can clone from anybody in your office. But when we have it restricted to where you can't clone other agents' MLS numbers. So you'd have to key it all in or pull it out from the tax data. All right, so now I'm going to upload photos. Since this one already has photos, let's just use one that I don't. But I'm going to do, down at the bottom, upload photos. I tell people to add at least one photo. So we're going to click Add Photos, browse on your computer. We're going to do, I can hold down my control to do multiples. I'm going to choose that one and the pool in the bathroom. I'm going to click Open. It adds them in. You can add your photo comments, front of house, pool, bathroom. And you can say Upload. You can sort them just by dragging and dropping them. I'm going to say Back to CMA because that's the order. I don't want that. You can always make this your primary photo just by clicking the little star. I'm going to say Back to CMA, and now we'll have photos. All right, so let's now go to Next. And we're going to move across here. Next page, the system will go find comparables for you based on what you have over here on the left and whatever's at the top is the most important. So items at the top of the selected fields carry the most important when searching. Well, property subtype, I think you should leave there because it's very important. So property subtype means you want the same type of house, residential. If you don't have that, you're going to get everything under residential, and you don't want single family residential. Notice over here on the right is available fields. This is every field that you put in about your subject property. So if you did not fill out basement full baths, it will not be in this list. So if you don't think that elementary school should be the next important thing, you can move it down. But in your area, I'm pretty sure that's pretty important. Something geographical needs to be there. Then we want the same amount of bedrooms, the same amount of bathrooms, and the approximate living square footage. If there's something else, maybe you are an appraiser. A lot of appraisers look for lake name. So I could take out any of these I don't want and remove them and move lake name up. So first of all, it would have to be the same subtype. Then it looks for the same lake name. If it cannot find this very first one, you will get 0 results. And I don't think that's ever going to happen because if you leave property subtype, it will always find a single family and a single family, right? But whatever's at the top carries the most importance. All right. Trying to log out of here. Let me get this off of here first. I should have done this before. There we go. Okay, so lake name. If you think that's the second thing, you put that on the second field. But let's remove that because I don't want to use that. I'm going to do elementary school, and I'm going to put living square footage back. Because I think your defaults are pretty good. All right. You can choose to do active and sold or holding down your control. You can do whatever. Some people like to do both. But in my case, I only want to look at solds. I want to go back however many months. We're going to go back 6 months. If you're looking at expireds, obviously you could limit your expired. And then you can also do within a distance of miles. So I could say I only want to go back within 5 miles of my subject address if you want. But I'm going to go to next, and it's going to find comparables for me based on those 5 criteria only. So first of all, it tried to find the same subtype, right? They're all single families. It will rank them in a score from 1 to 100. Don't get too caught up on the ranks. They say they're 89s. Notice they're all 89s until you get towards the bottom. You know, 40s. So probably wouldn't want to use that one, which means basically it's not in the same, it's probably the same single family, but the next thing we had was same elementary school. And they're probably not getting to that. It's not the same elementary school. So basically it looks at the first thing in the list, tries to find it, and then the second thing, if it's missing it, then it lowers the rank a little. If it's got it, it goes down. Not a big deal. If you get 100, it matches everything to the T right here. The exact same school, same bedroom, same bathroom. Very seldom do you get 100, but it does happen. So basically, what's throwing this off is we're probably in the same subtype, is exactly right. We're in the same elementary school, but then we look at bedrooms. They all have the same bedrooms, but full baths. You don't have an exact full bath, right? So you choose which ones you want to use. It also tells you the distance from your subject. And again, you have the default to change this grid, and it will stay that way forever. So if I wanted to add elementary school to this grid, I can, and save that. And now I can tell what elementary school these are all in, which they're all in the same. So where it's starting to lose some rating is bedrooms and bathrooms. So the same amount of bedrooms, choose the one that puts check boxes in the top 4. It does not mean that's the very top 4 that you need to go in. It only basically just numerically chooses the top 4. Okay? So now we're going to go to next. You would choose the ones you want to use, and you could do more than 4. You can have as many as you want. Now it brings you to your final presentation. So what you're going to do is choose, and I believe you might already have a couple of these already on the side. If you do, just remove them. And you're going to put them in the order you want them to go in. So I'm going to go, first of all, I'm going to go to my cover sheets, add. Let's just add them all. So we can see every single one of them. And the first one we're going to do cover sheet and then cover letter. After that, I want to do the table of contents. So just move them up. And then the rest of this should be in any order you want it to be in. I normally put my testimonials towards the bottom, my marketing plan, my subject property flyer will move up. Then we'll do comparable flyers. We'll do a 3-up map display. Let's do comparables photo gallery right after that. You do not need all of these. You could make this 1 page. You could make it 2 pages. Recommended price. Let's go to all right, so price adjusted comparables. recommended price will go up one more. But that's, so put it in any order you want, and I think that's a good order there. All right, now for each one, you can preview or edit. On the fly, this I think confused some people, you can always override the price right here, but normally if you'll just go through, I hope everyone can still hear me, you can just go through each page and it'll change the price based on what you're doing. All right, so we're going to go to the cover sheet and we're going to edit that. And I'm going to choose the one with my agent photo or the one with a property photo, or there's a default that just looks like a standard, just looks like a little logo. So I'm going to use the one with a property photo. You can change anything here if you wanted. I'm going to click next. And anytime you want to preview, just click on it, highlight it, and do preview, and it will show you what it's going to look like. So that's with my property photo, with your picture at the bottom, your contact information. Cover letter, I'm going to edit that. You can change this to your own wording, and it will stay that way if you click Save as Future Default Presentation. So if you spend your own time filling out a cover letter and you're not using ours, save it just by checking here. Do not sign your name because it's automatically going to sign your name. Save. Table of contents, you can't do anything. I'm going to move resume down. And let's go to subject property flyer. When I see edit, you can't do anything. So the one I'm going to go to here is subject comparable flyers. On your comparable flyers, you could exclude it out of one of these sections. So maybe this one here I wanted to use in the CMA because it was the one next door to my subject. But it really throws off my numbers, it really isn't a good comp, then I could take it out of the price adjusted page. So you could exclude it out of that. You're going to see this page 5 times. Maybe you want to use this one, but it had a terrible picture. So you might want to take it out of the flyer, or you might want to take it out of the gallery, so you could exclude it. Again, notice how you have this little wrench tool up here. You can change your grid to your liking. I'm going to go back. So I would go through each one, changing whatever I need. But here's the one that's the main exact one, the price adjusted comparables. This is the main page of the entire thing. So I'm going to click Edit. And then on Edit, you're going to notice that you have appreciation at 4%. If this should be something different, make it to whatever it should be. So if you know appreciation is 5, put a 5 in there, and it will automatically do your adjustments. But what if you want to make adjustments yourself for bedrooms and bathrooms, square footage, any of that stuff? You have add or remove fields. If you don't want appreciation, remove it. And let's say you want to make an adjustment for approximate living square footage. Let's say you want to make an adjustment for bedrooms. And so if you'll go through each one of these are all your fields in the entire database. Bedroom, you have bedroom, full baths, bedroom, full bedrooms. Here we go. So we could say bedrooms. And keep adding whichever ones you want to make adjustments for, right? Then I'm going to go to next, and it should bring me into here, and now what's the cost of square footage? How much is the cost of square footage? Maybe it's, we'll say $80 per square foot. I don't know. That's probably low, too low. Bedrooms. How much is the cost of a bedroom? We said $2,000 earlier, so we'll just use that again. So it makes the adjustments for you all the way across the page. If you made an adjustment that there could not be a numerical value for, like elementary school is a good one. it'll put those fields down here. So you would do a manual adjustment for any of those if you need to in these blocks. Because we have no idea, it's a different adjustment for some of the fields. All right, if there is something very, very strange that you wanted to make an adjustment for, that is not in your database, so it's not in this list at all, then we'll say there's some type of new new countertops that come out. You can have the option to do manual adjustments, and you can do new attributes. And I could call this special new countertop and save it. And now you would go through and make your manual adjustments yourself. So how much are the new countertops worth? Well, they're worth an extra $10,000. And then I could come down and say, well, this one doesn't have them, so I need to add 10,000. It has regular, and you have a lot of room in here to type what type you want to here. So this could be your notes. This has regular countertops. So this should only ever be used if it's something very odd that's not in your database anywhere, which is very seldom, but if it happens, you can manually add them. I'm going to say add. Well, first let's do save changes. And if you need to add another one, click add again, give it a name, save. So you can add as many as you want. Let's just go back, return the worksheet, and that brings you to here, and now we have that special new countertop down here at the bottom. When you are done, down at the bottom, it gives you your adjusted price and your adjusted price per square foot, and let's just click next. Now we're back in here. Notice this number has changed. That same price is now going to go to your recommended price page. So let's click edit here. You can change the price. You can change this wording. You can make it a range to show it as a range of, maybe you don't want 5%, we'll say 3%, so it's not such a big range. And click save. And now my price changed from 168 to 178.4. Here's where you could override the price if you wanted to. Just click here and type in the price. Some people like to do that. I don't know why, but you can. You can go down each one and preview, but all of these are the same. Basically, I could preview and exclude it if I needed to. Preview. Go back. Map display. The next one that people where you can make some adjustments is the seller's estimated proceeds. So it's going to take that price, and we're going to do edit, and it's going to put that price up here, not the range, but the original price. And then you can fill out any of these seller's estimated proceeds. If you just type in that a termite inspection is $100, the next time you run a comprehensive CMA, you're going to have to key that $100 in again. So anything you just type in, it's only going to stay for this one time. If you will look at the bottom, you have edit text. So I can click edit text, and this is where you can actually save the defaults forever and ever. So I could say for a termite inspection, it's going to always be $100. So just highlight it over here, type in here the value, and click save. Maybe you want to add another closing cost in here, like you have a marketing fee. So you can do new, and you can erase new item and type whatever you want it to say. And then a value. My marketing fee is $500. And save. And go to next. And now you have your seller's estimated proceeds. So every time you run a comprehensive CMA and use this page, it's going to have 500 and 100 here. You also see where you can show a percentage column. So it will print this column or it will not. You can use shading where it will shade every other line. And you can put a signature line on this as well. And let's just do next. Marketing plan, I can say edit the marketing plan. All this is typing in text. So I can say day 1, do your CMA. Day 2, you would actually have a better marketing plan than this, I would hope. Open house. Day 3, you sold it, right? So all you do, and if you have one somewhere else, you can copy and paste as long as you paste into these squares. So I'm going to do save. Do you want to see what we just made? All you have to do is go to the marketing plan and preview it. Nothing exciting there. I didn't spend a lot of time on my marketing plan, but once you do it once, it will be there saved from all your other future presentations. So the very first time you do one, it takes a little bit longer, but it saves them. It saves the default. Same thing for your agent resume. If you edit your agent resume, it looks just like the marketing plan. If you have your resume in Word, copy and paste it into these blocks. It just has to be in these sections. All right, I'm going to go back. The next one is testimonials. We're going to edit that, and this is where you're going to say all those nice things that people say about you. So Bob said I was the best agent ever. Now, this is where you can put all of those testimonials off your website and so on. Same thing, it's just a free form. Do save. Now we have testimonials. Now, you don't need all these pages, but I'm just showing you how you can use all of them. If there's one you don't like, just take it out. Underneath that, you have preferences. This will allow you to change the color. So you can change the color of each page, or I can change the color just of all of them. So notice how I have a border at the top and the bottom. I want no border. I can change the color. All you have to do is click here. So the labels are going to be the labels. Pick on your color wheel here what color you want, green, and then in the box you have all these different shades of green. And then all my labels would be green. Shading, what color do you want shading? If you click apply to all displays, it will change it for all of them. All right. Okay, so over here, I can also do a background image, which it'll put like these little things at the top, kind of like letterhead, marble, none. You can also go out and find your own file and do your own logo that would go up here at the top of the pages. And I'm going to click Save. Here's a big one, Upload Component. This upload component will allow you to add any file you have as long as it's a PDF. So you can go out on your computer. If you have your own agent resume that's saved as a PDF, put your own resume in. All you would do is choose File. It would take you out, find the PDF that you want to put in. I probably shouldn't have done that. And put the title that you would recognize. So I could give this a name. This could be the realist map. You know, you could put any, you could really get creative. And when I click Save, I might have not let that load all the way. Something I did that didn't like. We'll just go right back in. All right. So you could add your own. I don't know if my PDF was too big or what. Attachments. Then I have my attachments. If any of these properties that I have selected as a comparable. If any of them have attachments attached to it, you can check them off and we'll include those in your CMA. So this has a property condition disclosure. You might want to stick that in there. So just check them off and save. And it will put those in here and you can move them up anywhere you want them. So let's just go to build it. It's going to build my CMA, and you're going to notice on the left here, I could email it out. If it's to a contact and you're used to sending, to your contacts from in here, choose them and do send it. Copy yourself on it. If you don't have a My Email choice in here, it's only coming from the server, and that's just the way it is. I don't know why. So if it's not a contact in your list here, a prospect, then you're going to say, you can type in here where any address you want to send it to. And here is our presentation with our top one. Then you have your cover letter, table of contents. It does a subject property sheet. It does the photo gallery for each of the subject property. It does a sheet for each one of your comparables, and then their photos. Keep going, I'm going fast. These are just all photos. And then it does a CMA 3-up. Once it does a 3-up, you don't need the flyer, the comparable flyer, and a 3-up because it's repetitive. So if you like the short version, use the short version. If not, use the full big sheets like we looked at up there. You just don't need them both because that's half the page. It just repeats itself. This is your price adjusted comparables page. Continued on to the next page. Here's your recommended price, your CMA summary. It does a map display to show them on the map. It does a graph. Seller's estimated proceeds sheet with your signature line at the bottom, well, for the seller to sign it. Your marketing plan, which is not so exciting here. Your agent resume if you filled it out, and your testimonials. Okay, if you notice this opens in Adobe, so down at the bottom you have print. If you have Adobe on here, you have print, you have save, so I could save it as a PDF. If you don't, let's just close this. I'm going to show you where you can retrieve it. So I'm going to do start over. The CMA will always be kept in here until you delete it. Notice if I want that, I can go right to CMA archive right here and save it. So it saves it as a PDF, and you can save it electronically and put it wherever you want. You can save that onto your computer, but it stays in the system saved forever. They don't go out of here unless you check the box and you say delete or the little circle. Now, I just gave my CMA to a customer, and they said, I want you to list my house. They loved your presentation. If you can add in listings, you will have this option of activate. So I would click the word activate. It says OK. You're going to then fill out the correct expire and the list date, and anything else that's required that you might not have filled out on your CMA, and then come to the bottom and click Activate Listing, and it will give you an MLS number and allow you to put in photos and all that other good stuff. If you don't have this button, it's because you don't have access to putting in your own listings. I showed you how the system did this. We're almost out of time, but real quick, I want to show you how I do it. I put in my subject property. We're going to use the same one here, and I'm going to go to next. Instead of me letting the system go out and find me a comparable, like what's at the top here and so on, you have the option to do a manual search. And if I choose manual search, it brings me out to a search page of the same property type as my subject. Then you can really get good comps yourself because you can choose all kinds of stuff here. You know, you can put the type of flooring, the type of meat. I just like to do it myself this way to find my own comparables. But it's totally your choice. Here's what I do. I use the map-based search. If you've attended any of my past webinars, you've seen how to use the map-based search. But if you look here at the binoculars, I normally center on my subjects. So any address under the sun you can stick in here. So we're going to use my same subject property, Elmira Road, and we're going to put the zip code in. I think that's all you have to put in. And we're going to go out 5 miles. Actually, we're going to go out 3. Okay? Then down below, I want everything that has sold. That is the same subject, single family. And I would choose, I don't need a location because it's the same location. You know, I have the circle here. I have the 2-story house. I have 3 to 4 bedrooms. I have 3 to 4 baths. And then my square footage, if you know your square footage. And then I'm going to come to the bottom. You could go into code of features. But make sure you find the sold date because you don't want everything sold. So I'm going to do T minus 30 days. And let's do search. All right. Let's do T minus 80 days. What do I have messing me up? 3 to 4, 3 to 4, 2-story, sold single family. Somebody take a look at that. I don't know what I did. All right, let's try that again. Let's go to my last searches. It should load my last search. I didn't actually do the search. Single family. We did our map-based search. We're almost done, I promise. 1183, we'll do that. We'll put our zip code in again. I don't know what just happened to me. I did get a message that my internet is slow. And then let's put in sold date. Gosh, it's unbelievable. I don't know what, I got to figure out what I'm doing. Oh, that might help. 5 miles. Well, I don't know what's going on my PC. Let's see. Let me try one more thing. So it would center on your subject property is my point. I'll play around with this to see if I can create this again, and if it needs a work order, I'll put that in. But basically, if you're just doing a search, here's my point. Since we're in the CMA, let's go back to our CMA, and I'm going to just end it right after this. So we'll go back to here. We have too many bedrooms. Somebody says I have too many bathrooms, which is very possible. Thank you. So let's go to next. We're going to do this all over. I'm sorry. And instead of it letting here, we're going to click manual search. You would use the map-based search and center on an address. I'm scared if I try it again, it might not do it. So you could do it that way, but let's just do a regular search. I would choose sold. I would choose the same, put in all your criteria that you could put in. And then down at the bottom, we'll put in T minus 30 for today, back 30 days, and we're just going to do a search. Then what you can do is check off the ones you want to use, as many as you want, but you found the comps, so that it just, to me, it's easier. All right. So now what I say is use checked. It's going to take me right back into the CMA, and it knows that these are the ones I'm using. And then you go to next. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't look at any of the stuff. You're using those MLS numbers. I have way too many bathrooms, so that's probably my problem. All right, so let's go to search. I want to show you one last thing. We're finished. We started a few minutes late waiting on people. If I just do a search and I go to, I'm just going to pull up some results. Let's just do these. All right, so I'm going to check off a few. If you have 3 or you have a few checked off, you can choose those 3 and you can do it backwards, and I can start the CMA from here. And when I do show selection, it's going to say, do you want to add these as comps to a brand new CMA, or do you want to add them to an existing CMA? So you can get to it from the use checked menu, but remember, most people go straight from the comprehensive CMA and start from there. If you have one and this happens to be your listing and you want to do a CMA, or sometimes this was your listing, you could do use checked, CMA, show selection, and now you can use that as a subject property as long as it's your listing. Okay, I hope this class helped you tremendously on doing the CMAs. You have quite a few options. If you have any other questions, feel free to type them in. The recorded one, like I said, will be up here by Friday on the board news. But I appreciate you all taking the time to attend the webinar, and I will talk to you tomorrow on the next webinar if you're going to be attending. Thanks again.